Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off because today I am going to be sharing my review as well as a bit of a how to play for Nidavellir, which is from Grrre Games and Hachette Games. Should you accept the challenge of building a dwarven army to defeat the evil dragon Fafnir? Or does this game design just simply drag on and not deserving of a place in your collection? Well, you're going to find out right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As mentioned in the open, I am going to be reviewing Nidavellir in just a moment. But first, I do want to remind you, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as this review, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. I also do want to mention, if you would like to win this copy of Nidavellir, by all means, stay tuned. I will tell you how after the review. Speaking of the review, today I am going to be diving on into Nidavellir, which is from Grrre Games. It's a French company. I think that's how it's pronounced, Grre Games. And it's coming to North America in April by way of Hachette Games. The game is designed by Serge Leger, with artwork provided by Jean-Marie Minguez. The game is for 2 to 5 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 30 to 60 minutes. It's going to depend on the number of players mainly. I do not have an MSRP yet, so I cannot tell you what this is going to go for, I should say, at retail when it does arrive in April. Also, want to point out that the fine folks over at Hachette Games did provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share my thoughts about this game. Very important that you know that. So let's swing on over to the other camera. Now, I have got everything from Nidavellir kind of squeezed on in here, so not a ton of room. I'm going to kind of give you an overview of the game. I am not going to go into a, complete run through of how to play and, play a bunch of rounds, bunch of turns of the game. I'm going to show you the components, talk about a little bit about the gameplay as well, and tell you what I think of the game also. So essentially what's going on is each of the players is a war chief. They're a dwarven war chief, and they have been recruited by the king to go out and themselves recruit a dwarven army to battle the dragon Fafnir. So Nidavellir is actually the name of the dwarven homeland in Norse mythology. Interesting fact here. Nowhere in most of the Norse legends is it ever mentioned that dwarves are short. It's later, in later sagas, that the dwarves are indicated to be small and ugly, and they're usually little old men, to be honest. But, funny enough, early Norse writings never indicates that dwarves are short. Also, the dragon Fafnir is originally a dwarven prince who is corrupted by his greed and becomes a dragon. So everybody's looking to recruit a powerful army, an army brave enough to battle the dragon Fafnir. And that is, in essence, what each of the players are going to be doing in this blind bidding set collecting game. So each player is going to have a player board, just like so. You're going to need some space for each of the players. So because you're going to be laying out your army this way, you might have some cards up top here. You're going to be placing coins on these 3 tavern locations here. Plus, you're going to place some coins down here as well. So I'm going to kind of show you how that's going to work as well. So we've got a variety of different dwarves. We have 3 different taverns. So essentially, the dwarves are drunkards, and you're going to visit the different taverns to be able to recruit your army. So we have a variety of different kinds of dwarves. So we have blacksmiths, we have warriors, we have miners, we have hunters, and then we have explorers. So I will zoom in. We'll get a little better look at some of the cards towards the end of the review so you get a better feel. So what you're doing is you're looking to gain bravery. So whoever's going to have the highest bravery at the end of the game, their army is going to be the one that's dispatched to defeat the evil dragon. So if you see a number on any of these cards, that indicates bravery. Now on your board here, we also see we've got hunters and the blacksmiths, and the number of each that we have in our army is going to determine their bravery. So these different character types, these different types of dwarves are going to provide bravery in different ways. And as I lay out the army, I'll show you how that works. So we've got 3 different taverns. So essentially what's going to happen is each of the players is going to randomly receive a gem. And the gem is going to be essentially your tiebreaker. Each of these taverns, we've got the 3 taverns here, are going to have as many dwarves as there are players in the game. So I've got this set up as if we're playing a 3-player game. We also have different heroes that are available to the players. We have some special bonuses after we play the first age. We play essentially 2 ages in the game. But after the end of the first age, whoever has the majority of the different types of dwarves are going to get bonuses. And we also have the Royal Treasury, which I thought this is very interesting. This is one of the aspects of the game I think is very cool. And that is that you're actually going to kind of like change coins. And I'll explain that in a bit. So we have values anywhere from 5 to 25. And some of these we have multiple coins, but then when we get into the higher values, we only have single coins. But we've got it. This is set up so this is a stand, so I like that. So I'm going to just tilt that up so you get a little better look at that. Also for all the heroes and the majority cards, we also have these stands here, so I like that. They're not just, whoops, as I knock them over, not just laying on the table. So I thought that's pretty cool as well. Component quality is very nice. The cardstock's very thick. Well, I take that back. Cardstock's pretty nice. You're going to sleeve these. So the punch board is what I meant to say, is nice and thick. Very thick punch board for the coins and the gems and the like signs for the taverns as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to have these coins here. So we've got 5 coins. We've got 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the values. There is no 1. So we are looking to bid on the services, or in this case, this is a card that's going to allow us to add value to a coin. But what we're going to be doing is we're bidding on the services of these different dwarves in these taverns. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take our coins here, and to begin our turn, we're going to determine what do we want to bid. So we'd be looking at who's in these taverns here. So as an example, we can already see that there's only one explorer, and they are in the third tavern. So we might decide, hey, we want to use a higher value to get this explorer. We've got one blacksmith who's over here in the first tavern. We might want to go a little higher for that as well. Now, one thing with the 0 that's important is when you're laying down your bids, I'm going to cover this up a little bit because I don't have tons of room. So you're going to use 3 of your 5 coins. So that's going to leave you 2 coins. Those 2 coins are going to go face down in your money bag. And if you use the 0, that's going to count as a 0 bid. You're still going to be able to get a card from a tavern, especially. I almost said character. That's not a character. But what it also allows you to do, it allows you to take your coins from the money bag. You're going to take a look at them. You're going to total them up. So as an example here, that's 7. And you're going to take from the royal treasury that value coin. So as an example here, this would be 7. I would take the 7 coin. I'm going to discard the higher value of the 2. So as an example, like here. And then I would now have this coin in my possession. So you should be playing your 0 bid a lot, practically every turn, because what you're looking to do is these coins are going to actually give you bravery points at the end of the game, plus the higher value in the bid at the different locations are going to get you first pick. So just as an example, what you would be doing here is you would sit there and let's say, pretend I don't have that 7. And what we got? Let's do that. Now keep in mind we have this gem as well. So this is the tiebreaker. So everyone's going to reveal their first bid for, I believe, if I remember correctly, I think it's the Laughing Goblin is the name of this tavern. So we flip it over, and I would have 4, and just randomly, let's just pick one for these other players. A 0 and 2. So what would happen is I have the high bid, so I would get to choose one of the dwarves at that tavern to add to my army. So I'd maybe say, oh, okay, well, you know what? There's only one blacksmith out here right now. I'm going to take the blacksmith. And then you add them to your army like so. Because remember, the hunters and the blacksmith, it's the number of these characters that we have that are going to determine how much bravery we get from them. So then the next highest, the 2 would take theirs. Let's say they take the miner. And then the 0 would take the warrior. Now you would move to the next. You'd flip this over. Okay, there I got my 0. And then we've got another, let's say they've played a 5, and then they played the 0. Now, of course, this is not how player boards are going to be laid out. I'm just trying to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. In fact, you know what? Just for the heck of it, I am going to say that this player, we'll leave the 0. That's fine like that. So what would happen here would be the 5 is going to go first. So they're going to say, hey, you know what? I want to take this coin because it's going to allow me to add 3 to any of my coins. So they say, well, they're going to add it to their 5. That's going to give them an 8. So that's going to add to their coins. And then, of course, because they had the 5, it's going to be removed from the game. So this is going to be out of the game and replaced by the 8. Now, what will eventually start happening, too, is that you'll have large value coins in your money bag. Remember, down here, this is where your money bag is at. And if you're trading, say, for an example, you've got an 8 and a 4. Well, let's say 3, because I had a 4 sitting up there. When that 0 came up, then it'd be, okay, so I'm going to take the 11. Now, remember, you're going to discard the highest number of these coins. But if it's a gold coin, which is coming from the Royal Treasury, that's the Royal Treasury over here, you'll actually just return it to the Treasury. You're not going to remove it from the game. It would actually go back into there, and then you would simply select the 11. Easy enough. So what happens, what if you have a tie? Well, that's what these gems are for. And that's why you have the gem that sits up here, just like so. And let's say, as just for the sake of argument, that this player here had the number 3. I've got the number 2. So essentially, they would go first. They would go before me in the tie. They're going to recruit. Okay, so they recruit the explorer, or I should say the hunter. I get to now go, since I'm going last, I would be able to take the miner, and then we're going to swap. We're going to swap gems. So anytime you have a tie, the players are going to swap their gems. Now, if it's a 3-way tie, the highest and the lowest. So as an example, if this was like a 1, a 2, and I have, say, 3, and we all tied, then only the 1 and the 3 would swap places. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through this process. Let's get these, kind of move these back out of the way. So you're going to go through the process of building up your army by recruiting these various different dwarves. So to kind of give you an idea, let's say I've got this, I've got that. Then we reveal the next one, and I've got 5. Let's say I get to go first, and I'm like, oh, okay, I want one of these hunters. So I might put it together something like this. And I'm building my army. I'm going to be building up my army. It's on a little engine building, not a ton, but a little bit, because some of the heroes will have a requirement for how many of these different dwarves of a specific class you have in your army. Some of them, like for an example here, you have to have 5 or more explorers to be able to recruit this hero. And I'll get to the heroes in just a second. So what you're going to be doing is you're building your army. And essentially what you're going to do is you've got 2 decks. So we've got, this is the first era deck, and then this is the second era deck. And depending on the number of players is how long the game is going to go on. But the game moves very quickly once people have a clue as to what's going on. This is a game that does require a few playthroughs to start kind of getting the hang of it. Because at the end, it's a lot of math. Now, there is a scoring app that's available for the game. I highly recommend those of you who do not like math might want to pick up, that makes life way easier for you. But what's going to happen is you're going to go through the first era. And there are some cards in the deck. I didn't pull them out. Give you an example right here. You might be able to see. We've got the little 5 down there. So if you don't have 5 players in the game, you're actually pulling these cards out of the deck. So this deck isn't as big with 4 or fewer players. Now, there are some tweaks for a 2-player game. There are some tweaks for a 3-player game as well. So the game still plays the same. It's essentially how many cards are in here. It's more about like how many coins are in the royal treasury as well. So what's eventually going to start going on. So I'm just going to toss in some dwarves into my army just to give you an idea. So what'll happen is if you start getting like multiple of the class of the type, you're going to just put them and you're going to put them in ranks. So you'll start off and you're going to have a row here, and then you're going to start putting ranks in. So now, as an example, if I had an army like this, so if I have one each of the 5 different types, I can now recruit a hero. And there are all these different heroes. We have some heroes that are they're called neutral heroes. Kind of show you here. So they're not affiliated with any type of dwarf. They're neutral heroes. And if you get a neutral hero, you're actually going to recruit them and put them on top of your army, like so. We also have heroes that are affiliated with the various different types. So as an example, see, these stands are really good for when you're just playing the game. When you're trying to show things off, they all go falling all over the place. So for an example here, we have the heroes for the explorers. We have the heroes here for the miners. We've got heroes for... can he pick it up? There we go. We've got for the hunters, for the blacksmith, and for the warriors as well. So you can add these, and these actually will add ranks. So as an example, if I recruited, say, this hero here, I would actually place it like so. So this hero actually makes it as if I have 3 hunters in my army. Over here, we've got, for an example, this is with the blacksmith. So if I were to recruit that hero, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's as if I had 4 blacksmith in my army. Now, one thing I'll mention is that you'll see, once again, is if we take a look at the player board, as you start getting more and more of the hunters and the blacksmith, the hunters become more valuable as far as your bravery points. So there's going to be a little bit of a juggling act as you're putting together your armies. Because remember, your coins are going to count as bravery. So you want to increase the value of your coins. Plus, of course, you're also looking at trying to get higher value coins for when you're bidding as well for the services of the different dwarves in your army. You're looking at different aspects of how things score as well. So as an example here with the miners actually score based on a totaling up the value of their bravery and then multiplying it by the number of miners. The warriors, you're just adding up the value. So as an example here, that'd be 14 points. Same with explorers. So you've got that way of scoring as well. So what's going to happen is at the end of the first era, you're going to look and you're going to score for majorities. So for an example, the player who's got the most miners is actually going to get the 6 value gem that's going to go onto their player board. Once again, in ties, you're still looking at exchanging with the player you're tied with. But by this point, you're going to start seeing fewer ties, unless you're busting out those zeros, especially as people start adding more and more high-value coins from the royal treasury. So here we've got, with the warriors, that's with the explorers, that's with the hunters, and that is for the blacksmiths. So once again, if this is something you've got a majority and you won, so as an example here, let's say this would be the most of the blacksmiths, that is going to go into where I would keep my neutral heroes as well. So what's eventually going to happen is you're going to go through the second era deck, the second age deck. And once you've gone through that, you're going to finish up and you're going to total up all your points. And there is a handy dandy score pad for you to utilize. But like I said, once again, you really do want to get that app because it'll make life so much easier. All you got to do is just press the cards that you've got. That's all the app does. The app only does scoring. It's not like an online version of the game or anything like that. But the app does make life very much easier. All right, let's wrap up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you get a better look at some of these cards. So you can get a little better look at some of the artwork for the cards. The art is all right. Funny enough, it seems to me like the hero artwork just seems to have a little more detail, which is strange because it's the same artist. I will say that for the different types of dwarves, there is some different artwork. It's not like, okay, every explorer has the same exact artwork. So, show you some of the heroes as well. Now, there are some optional, more powerful heroes. I guess I shouldn't say optional. It's basically once you learn how to play the game, you should include these heroes into the mix. When you're first learning how to play, you want to leave them out for the first few games. So there's a look at some of the artwork. Get a closer look at the player board as well. All right. So in essence, that is how you play Nidavellir. I think it's pronounced Nidavellir. Pretty sure. Once again, I don't necessarily speak Norse. So let's swing on over to the other camera and I will provide my final thoughts as well as a review score. I gotta say, it's a very cool game. I really do like this game. Thematically, I'm going to get that right out of the way. Thematically, you could be collecting anything. You don't necessarily get the sense that, oh, well, I'm getting together this powerful army. But I do like the fact that there's a lot of different ways that you can approach how you're going to end up with the most bravery. I like the fact where when you do your zero bid, you're going to take the coins from your money bag, combine them, and get that value coin. Now, the highest value the coins go up to is 25. And when you're in the high teens and into the 20s, there's only one of each coin. So once those higher value coins are gone, you're probably not going to play that zero value very often anymore. But it does take a while for a lot of these coins to disappear. Because the thing is, you're always only going to have 5 coins. It's just going to be 5 coins all the time for you to do your bidding with. So once again, thematically, I didn't feel like I was some dwarven warlord going in and, recruiting my army, pulling the drunkards out of the taverns. That said, I really enjoyed this game. I had a lot of fun with it. I will point out a couple of members of the gang didn't necessarily grasp it right off the bat. As I mentioned, as I was talking about how to play, this is a game that you're going to need to play a few times before you start to unlock some strategies. And I like that. I like the fact that it's not readily apparent right off the bat how you can approach this to win. You can see huge fluctuations as well as far as scoring. You can see huge fluctuations of people suddenly getting these heroes too. It's pretty wild. You might see one hero get added, especially the type that add ranks like the number that you've got of each type, that might fill out another row of 5 of a kind. Well, I shouldn't say 5 of a kind. 1 of each of the 5. And that gets you another hero. It's pretty cool. And you can kind of, it's almost like putting together combos. So I like there's these little aspects of the game that aren't exactly real clear right out the bat when you play. As far as playtime, the game moves along pretty quickly. Early, when you're first learning how to play, there might be a little bit of analysis paralysis as people try to figure out, so what should I be bidding on here? What does that guy do? Or what does that gal do? But once you've played a few times, and especially with the heroes, you get a better feel for the different heroes that you might want to try to recruit, depending on what kind of army you're putting together, then the game will zip along. I have not played with 5 players. I have not played with 2 players. So I really can't comment. I would think 5 players is about the same. There are a couple of little tweaks for the 2-player game. Like I said, I have not played it. But they say 30 to 60 minutes. Even with a 4-player game, once we had a grasp of the game, it moved along pretty quick. We never took an entire hour to play the game, usually about 45 minutes. So all in all, I've had a lot of fun with this. As I mentioned, a couple of members of the gang were a little up in the air. They didn't love it. They didn't hate it. It was just okay. But I think it was just because they hadn't grasped everything yet. And those 2 people only got to play it one time anyway. All in all, this is a game to keep on your radar. Now, it's not out until April, but this is certainly, if you enjoy bidding games, because I got to be honest, I'm not huge on like auction games and blind bid games. I enjoyed this one quite a lot. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I give Nidavellir a 8.5 out of 10. I think it's that good. Now, do want to point out, if you would like to win this copy of Nidavellir, then by all means, all you need to do is be a subscriber to the Gaming Gang channel, give this video a thumbs up, and comment on this video. And I will choose a winner on the last day of February 2021. I will announce the winner, and I will ship this copy anywhere I can possibly ship it from the U.S. So I like to mention that. So if you're watching in Iraq, I'm afraid I can't get this into your hands. But there are a lot of places I can send that to. All right, that's it for this time out. Once again, if you like this video and if you would like to be in the contest, by all means, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Because not only will you be informed when I upload videos such as this review, it'll also let you know when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. So I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure, English, Jeff. Be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. And as I wrap up all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, I certainly do hope all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, click right here. And if you'd like to check out one of our recent live streams, click right up top. And if you want to roll the dice and see what the algorithm for YouTube recommends, click right here. And of course, thank you once again for watching. And gang, Please stay safe and wear a mask.